And this is where there seems to be a falling down. Attention to livelihoods, to returns, to community-based programs. I think the final appeal I heard was that there should be as little politicization as possible of all this, because when you have highly politicized, then you'll focus on one area or you'll focus just on humanitarian aid operations, and that there are a lot of it's very important to see this in a way that's best for the people concerned. Let's turn to the audience, please, and I'm going to do what Ambassador Gulti did and take 3 or 4 questions at a time, and with also the 2-finger rule. Okay, so let's go here. Go ahead.
Hello. Yes, I think this question is for Mr. Markets. I liked your presentation, boots on ground perspective. But if I may add, because of my experience in Darfur, where I spent 6 months working every day in different camps around El Junaina, Fasher, and Nyala, numbers of IDPs, this bothers me, because I think we overestimate numbers. It's too much. We have proofs ourselves. When we try to challenge this, we have been bitten a couple times by the IDPs, particularly the tribe leaders that overestimated numbers because they could get more NFIs. You are familiar with that. And the best proof is to go to markets, and you see all the NFIs we have been distributing were sold in the market with, pots and blankets and so on. You may say that some IDPs sold them because they didn't need them. So this is another problem. We decide that we should give them items that they didn't need. And if you could comment on this one. And second one, quickly, is who are the IDPs representative? Because I was talking to many colleagues. They were not aware of Mr. Saad. If I say Mr. Saad, who is this guy? Actually, he is the king of the Masalit. And many of the international organizations never went to visit him or talk to him about the IDPs issue. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, where are we? Wait just one moment. I see a hand of someone who's not spoken before at all first, right in the back here. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that elaborate presentation. Mark, this goes to you. I'm serving at the Peace Corps Post-Conflict Programming and Training as a fellow, and I'm from Uganda. Obviously, Sudan is a point of interest. And, my question is brief. It is, as the UNHCR, have you ever been stretched this much in terms of humanitarian intervention, like how you're stretched in Darfur? And secondly, how are you facing this in terms of the people who are funding the UNHCR to do this, considering the economic situation in the world currently? Things are not so good. Thank you.
As we're there, this one over here, and then we'll come back to you.
Following up on his question, I wanted to find out what is China's contribution to UNHCR's involvement and aid in Sudan.
Okay. And there's a gentleman in the first, and then... No, we were going to go to the gentleman here first, and then we'll come to you. Okay.
Yes, thank you. My name is Kamal Al-Mahdi, and my question is, I am an analyst, a cultural advisor. My question is, I don't call it the government of Sudan, the regime of Sudan, and you can have your own conclusion. So it does not represent, the people of Sudan very much. And you mentioned, Mr. Mark, the way you have to conduct business. I'm sure you made your recommendations to the superior in the UN or your boss, I can say. Do you see any change on the way you're going to do business? And I hope, the change coming to Sudan, but we're going to prepare these people for the future. We're going to keep them hostage.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this lady in front.
Thank you very much. I'm Angela Martini. I'm a adjunct professor at the School of Public Policy at GMU, and I have a question actually for Peter de Klerk concerning the refugees in Sudan. And I don't know too well the situation there, but you were mentioning Eritreans, refugees in eastern Sudan, and you say that you cannot even look at that situation any longer, if I understood you correctly, from a refugee point of view. You have to think of durable solutions. You mentioned local integration. I would be grateful if you could expand a bit about the refugee situation. So not so much the return. I mean, what are the perspectives for durable solutions, both from integration point of view and also from resettlement? And how do you see that? I know resettlement is always the least preferred solution. Numbers are small, but maybe you can develop a bit more on that point. Thank you.
Peter, can you begin, and then Mark will take the other questions. And Gerald, if there were something you'd like to add, please do.
Sure. Have we ever been stretched this much? I think we've had a number of simultaneous emergencies in other eras as well. It is certainly not easy to keep Sudan on the agenda. On the other hand, we do see that particularly the fact that the South will become an independent nation attracts quite a bit of international attention. As I tried to do in the presentation and also the other colleagues, it's very important that we continue to engage also with the government of Sudan in Khartoum. There's a lot of issues still on the table that, if not addressed, are again a basis for further displacement and tension between the two countries in the future. So we have to keep Sudan on the agenda, particularly stressing the positive and stressing the opportunities we have in terms of resolving some of these long-term situation and displacement. And we have an opportunity to do things well, to see return happening. And that, in my opinion, having worked in many UNHCR operations throughout, is something that sells well, if I put it very, in a very vulgar manner. The return of Afghans is something that really sold well. The return of Mozambicans in the Great Lakes, etc., etc. So if we stress the positive and we stress the fact that the international community can either invest in durable solutions and give a boost there, or continue to assist displaced population, Mark hinted at it for a long time, the choice is clear. And I think it's a choice that donors would like to make. So I think this is probably a good way of presenting it. In terms of your question on East Sudan and the Eritreans, we have the oldest situation concerning refugees outside the Palestinian question in Sudan. We have 43 years of refugee situation. People who were not only born, but their parents were born. In some cases, even the grandparents were born. Now, can you still call these people refugees? That's very questionable. Of course, these people don't sit and twiddle their thumbs in the camps. They are active, and they're looking at their environment for opportunities. We do have a real opportunity here to work with development actors and entities like the World Bank, UNDP, to turn this into a very different type of approach. Refugee camps, de facto, are villages. And they're de facto Sudanese villages in a Sudanese environment, whereby the facilities are open for locals as much as for the refugees. If these people are just given access to basic means of production, they don't need any food assistance, which they're still getting after 43 years. So there are opportunities there, particularly for the old caseload. That is, of course, very much helped by the fact that the old caseload are from the Beni Amr tribe, which is the same tribe you see on the other side of the border, culturally very much integrated where they are at the moment. So for them, the step towards self-reliance and integration is relatively a small one. It depends a lot on political will. Now, where we have an opportunity now that we haven't had for 40 years is the fact that we have elected state governments in Sudan. So we have governors who are very interested in furthering their areas and seeing investment going into their areas, other than, let's say, the very entrenched interest of the federal authorities dealing with refugees, who's basically, this is their livelihood. So this is the opportunity now to engage with these states and decentralized entities and governments to work towards durable solutions. Now,